Good evening. Good evening. How are you guys doing? It is 7 o'clock, January 10th, 2022. Whew, man. Can you believe that? Right? 2022 already. We are going to talk tonight about intentionality, your words, your thoughts. What is your perspective of the year? And we are going to get long into this tonight and just talk about a couple of things. And I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about it. I've been talking about this a lot. We're going to talk a little bit more about it right after this. Yeah, all righty, man. What a year it's already been. I know it's only 2 days in. But let me turn this down a little bit. I think I'm coming a little hot. I know it's only 10 days in, but man, it has been an eventful 10 days already, and it's shaping up. It's shaping up to be even more eventful with a lot of things that we have going on. I mean, just a lot of stuff already. But before we get into some of that stuff, I'm not using my Stream Deck here tonight. Was playing around with the new Ecamm, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But here's what I want to do. I do want to say and ask you guys, if you are not listening to this or looking at this on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, here's what we ask. We ask that you go ahead and go to our YouTube channel, Podcasters Live, and go in and hit that subscribe button. We've actually already been growing the channel, and I'm really excited about the momentum that we have going on with the channel right now. A lot of great stuff taking place. More and more people joining. The live streams are ramping up, and we'll get into that here in a second. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about with all the people that we have going on. The one thing that we are missing and that we will be doing more of is going to be videos. And so I'm excited to kind of talk a little bit about that a little bit more as well. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and go to Podcasters Live. Share it if you already are part of it as well. If you're already part of the YouTube channel, I ask that you go ahead and share it as well with somebody who is interested, podcasters, content creators who are looking at and thinking about understanding how to use live streaming so that they can become discovered, so that they can grow their podcast and their audience as well. Our community is ramping up on Facebook. We're growing probably by about 5 to 10 members a week. And here's why I said that. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but we are looking at, this is the business side of Steve, kind of I'm jumping in here a little bit. We're looking at smart growth. We're looking at growth in a capacity that we want to make sure that we are having the right people in our community who are going to add value to that community. And in order to do that, we actually have to take very smart, kind of methodical steps in who we select and how we market and how we actually go about this process from a community standpoint. So I'm excited about what we're doing. We have some great people in the community already who have been sharing some awesome content, what they're doing, but more important, they're adding value to a lot of other people that are actually in the community as well. And then lastly, everything that you see here tonight, all the overlays and everything that we got going on, we do it in Ecamm. And I mentioned earlier was that, I was playing around because there's a new beta that's out with Ecamm, and it's actually pretty robust, some of the new changes. And so I was messing around with it earlier. Actually, I'm going to probably use a feature that they have going on. I actually already kind of set up a group for it in my profile. So I'm going to try it out tonight. If I mess it up, then I mess it up. But this is what happens when you go live stream. I don't think I'll mess it up though. I think it'd actually be pretty cool. But if you are thinking about utilizing Ecamm, please let me know. We have an affiliate link, for it. And we would love for you to be a part of that Ecamm family and the community at large, which is amazing. All right. So, wrong window, as it always is. So let's do this. We got a lot of big things going on here coming up in January. And I want to start out with, before we move into today's content and what I want to talk about today, because I do want all of you to chime in today. Actually, if you want to come on live for a little while too, let me know that. And we can go ahead and set some stuff up. And I would love to actually have you here as well to kind of come on and chime in live if that's something that you want to do tonight. So, hey, what's going on? How you doing, big guy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. What's going on? Let me know if you have any thoughts or any comments tonight. Anything that you're thinking about when you start talking about intentionality tonight, Roy. I really appreciate that. Thanks for being here. As well, hey, Samantha, how are you doing? Good to see you here. I know I typically don't go live on a Monday. I go Wednesdays, and speaking of Wednesdays, I'm not going to talk about just who we got coming on this Wednesday, but I'm going to talk about next week's Wednesday. So next week. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I didn't see that, man. Here we go. I hit the mute button was going on. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That's why you have people in the audience to help you out with that. So let me go back then. Before I get to John and JA here in a second. So on the 19th, there we go. I had to make sure I had to go back and unmute. On the 19th, we actually have JP and Dean on the 19th of January, which is amazing. We're going to be talking about the studio. We're going to be talking a little bit about production quality and how to up your game from a production standpoint with JP and Dean, and that is on the 26th. And then on the 19th, we actually have Michelle Ngomi and CL Palmer, and we are going to be talking about diversity in podcasting. So I'm super excited to talk to them because they are the founders of the African American Marketing Association, which is this amazing group that's just growing exponentially, and talking about diversity as it relates to marketing and some of the things that you can kind of put in place as well too. And then this Wednesday on the 12th, we have Mr. John Ryan and J.A. Smith and Jeff Smith. I'm telling you right now, I'm excited about this one, and because a lot of you guys who are either in my community or in Jeff's and J.A.'s community and their YouTube channels, they know that we go at each other positively when we exchange, when they're actually going live and they're doing different things. I love their energy. I love everything that they're doing. And we are going to be talking about gear. We're going to be talking about the idea, does gear really matter? And we know that gear does matter. And these guys have a lot of gear. And they're also super smart with it and have a really good understanding of how to apply their gear as it relates to their use case. And we're going to be talking about that. And that is going to be on January 12th. So you'll be seeing some more marketing actually probably tonight after I finish this live stream. And then kind of going into Tuesday as well. So, but tonight we are going to be talking about intentionality. How many of you have a word of the year, right? How many of you have a word that's something that every year you think about your year, you think about probably the year previous in review, and then you think about the upcoming year, and you start to think about what it is that you want to accomplish, what's something that you want to go after, what's something that you want to do differently. And so every year we meaning myself from an overall business standpoint, we have a word of the year that we use, and it is something that's foundational to everything that we do, everything that we kind of go after. And that word of the year for us today, for this year, 2022, is intentionality. And the word intentionality for us means not so much anything different than what it means for anybody else, right? The idea of it means purpose and being deliberate in your actions. So intentionality is the act of intent, or the application of being intentional. And so that's why we use the word intentionality, and not just intention or intentional, right? Intentionality is the actual act, the steps that you take in order to be deliberate, in order to make sure that whatever it is that you're trying to do gets accomplished. And so that is kind of our word for the year around intentionality. And so today we wanted to kind of talk and just kind of touch on a little bit about this idea around intentionality. But what I want to do, if you're out there listening and you have a word of the year, you have something that, you fall back on, a word that is something that kind of motivates you and drives you, through the year. If you don't have one, that's cool. If you have one, I would actually go ahead and put it in the chats. If you're listening to this live or you're looking at this on the replay, I would ask that you go ahead and put it in there in the comments and say, well, what's your word of the year? Because I really would like to know that, because I think this year is going to be big for a lot of people who are intentional, who have made up their minds that they do want to truly be successful. And so I think that's where we have to help people out in understanding that aspect of their business and what it is that they kind of want to do as well. So intentionality is our word. Okay. All right, Roy. So your word of the year is consistency. I like that. And it's consistency in the context of that you want to be consistent with what you put out, and you want to be consistent with kind of like your thought process and everything that you do as well. Is that the thought process around being consistent? Let me know. I want to know what's your thought process when you say the word consistent, because I think it's going to be instructive, not just for me, but I think for other people as well, because I think a lot of other people want to be consistent. And I guess I would ask you too, like, what are your steps that you're going to take in order for you to be consistent? Because I think that's also that's the other piece that a lot of people, when we start talking about what they want to do, they have to put something in play, in practice. And if we don't do that, guess what? 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. So we want to do that. Excellent, sir. What you got going on? What you say here? That's exactly it. I want to go live every Tuesday night, recorded videos every other Thursday, every other Thursday, and keep the podcast going weekly. Excellent. I think those are really, that's really good process and thought process. I like the every other Thursday. And here's why. Because one, it's speaking to me, because it's something I think about. I tried to do a video like every week, and I was like, I can't do it. Something's just not going to work. And so I came up with the idea of doing something every other week. from a video standpoint. And then the other thing that I just started to do today was vlogging. So this camera right over here, Sony ZV-E10, I've used that, and it's actually set up. Has a mic on it already set up as well. And then I have some mounts kind of all around the office. And so for me, the idea is like, if I'm going to start vlogging, I have to take the excuses out. So as soon as I step in this office, the idea is to start capturing some thoughts that I actually have in my mind. And so I'm glad you said that about every 2 weeks. Here's the other thing that I would probably not just ask you, but everybody else that's out here in the audience as well too, is that when you start to think about, being consistent, or, kind of to tap in my word around intentionality, what is going to be your thought process around the frequency of what it is that you want to get accomplished, right? And the realistic side of what that is, because that is going to be extremely important. Is going to be that consistency side of whatever it is, the frequency side of whatever it is that you want to get accomplished. Big time. 100%. 100%. Thank you, Samantha. Hey, Samantha, what's your word of the year? Because I know you do affirmations, and I know, which I love. I know you do those at the beginning of your show, and I can just only imagine that you probably have something, some words that you kind of fall back on, or that are part of, your ethos and who you are, and things like that. So I want to know if you have a word or words, for 2022, because you have been lighting it up, man. And man I use man kind of, I'm a colloquialism. I'm from New York, so I apologize. Good word, Roy. I didn't have one, but I'll definitely get one. Okay. All right. Well, go ahead. I appreciate that. I appreciate the honesty. I think for you, man, you got a lot of stuff, a lot of positive momentum, going on with your channel, with your interviews. When you and I interviewed, I think I told you this, like, I thought it was one of the best interviews that I've had. Like, you were really thoughtful with your questions. And so I think that's something that you definitely want to tap into. And then, of course, when you were with Robert the other day, great job interviewing Robert. So just think about, how you kind of go about your business, and some of the things that you actually do really well. And then how are you going to try to leverage that as well this year? So, all right. So intentionality. So here's a couple things around intentionality. And I don't have the PowerPoint. I don't have, overlays and things like that to kind of go along with that today. And I probably should have, but I didn't, because here's why. Because I don't typically do this on a Monday night. And the other side is that we got a lot of stuff going on. One, professionally at work, and then two, with Podcasters Live, and also with my other thing to have going on, Worthy Retail U and Retail Leadership with Steve Worthy, the podcast. A lot of stuff going on. And so Monday night for me is typically going to be dedicated to Retail Leadership with Steve Worthy. But I wanted to come on here tonight and talk about this idea around intentionality, because I said that I was going to do it, and I wanted to go ahead and do it as well. So the idea around being intentional for us, here's what happens when you start to think about the word intentional. It's two parts. There's a purpose side of it, and then there is the deliberate side of it, right? All of us who are in the Ecamm community, we all know Doc Rock, and part of his, some of his words and some of his merch and some of the things he talks about is intent and purpose, right? Purpose is a big part of intentionality. What is the underlying rationale for doing whatever it is that you're doing, right? Is it for individual reasons, personal reason, intrinsic reasons? Is it something that you're looking at that is going to benefit others? And hopefully that's a big part of it, is that it's going to do something for other people as well. But here's the other part that a lot of people, I think, don't, when they think about the word intention or intentionality or intentional, they think purpose. I am going to flip it on its head tonight a little bit, and I really want to talk about the word, and I really want to talk about the word deliberate and how to be deliberate. Before I do that, I want to make sure I get Roy's comment up. What's your why? Yeah. What's your why? Yeah. What is your why? And here's why, no pun intended. And here's why I want to focus on the idea about being deliberate, and not so much just the why, right? So a lot of you, I don't know if you guys are part of my, Worthy Retail Coaching group. And so I did some information around leaving 2021 and going into 2022. And I'm going to kind of repeat myself a little bit. I don't care. Is that I didn't talk about goals when I talked about 2022. And I didn't talk about milestones and different things like that. Now, do I have them? 100%. 100%. 100%. I have them. But here's the one thing that I will say to you before I want to just say hello. We should have a focus to keep our routine. Good. Agreed. Here's the one thing that I want to say. Because in our coaching business, and we're going to be doing coaching with podcasters as well. But in my other thing that I do, we do a lot of coaching. And one of the things that we focus on is the person. And what I will say to you is that your goals and your milestones, whether you're a podcaster, content creator, YouTuber, videographer, or whatever it is, your goals are only as good as you are. Hopefully you get that, right? Your goals, everything that you put out, Roy, Samantha, right? Everything that you put out, let me make sure I turn this down. I apologize. I got my iPad open, and I don't want my iPad open. There we go. Your goals, your milestones, everything that you want to get accomplished are only going to be as good as you are as a person, as a leader, husband, wife, or whatever it may be. So if you don't take the time to understand your why, right? Your purpose and your why, then guess what? It doesn't mean anything. So when I talk about the deliberate nature is that the more you know yourself, the more you can say no to certain things. And I really want us, whether we are content creators, everybody in this community, I really want us to focus on kind of like who we are and what we want to stand for and our value systems. And I know that sounds different and weird, possibly, right? Because everybody on YouTube, everybody in social media, they're all telling you goals. And they're telling you to create all of these things. And I can talk about BHAGs all day long, big, hairy, audacious goals. I could talk about SMART goals all day long. Been there, done that. I live that life daily around BHAGs and SMART goals. That is part of my professional life, 100%. But what I've learned over my leadership experience is exactly this. When I connect with people and they tell me about their goals, they tell me about their milestones that they want to set, half the time, and I hate to say it, half the time they don't finish them. They do not complete them because they don't have the bandwidth. I won't say they don't have the bandwidth from an integrity standpoint that they can lean back on. Get that, please understand that, right? And so that's why whenever I talk to people about their goals and all these things, different things that they want to do, the intentionality behind it is who are you? Roy, who are you? Samantha, who are you? Casey, who's out there in the audience, who are you? Right? And what do you stand for? And why should people listen to whatever it is that you actually have to say? When you understand that, when you have a better understanding of that and that value system and your own value system, and people will buy into that value system, then your goals, your milestones, everything that you want to get accomplished becomes that much easier. They truly do. It becomes that much more simple for you to be able to set goals and milestones, because everything else, when you're focused on who you are and what you want to stand for, all those other things that will try to vie for your attention, you can move away from. You can go away from, because they're not going to fit within what you're truly trying to get accomplished. So that's why when we talk about intent and purpose, and with Doc Rock and I talk about intentionality, is because this year we are focusing in on our core values of who we are, who I am as a person, who I am as a leader, what it is that I want to stand for. Because if I'm continuously doing that, everything that Podcasters Live, that we stand for, the people that we have on our platform, all of that will fall into place, because I'm able to kind of sift through all the nonsense and all the people that say that they want to be on the show and they want to do this and they want to do that, and videos that I want to potentially create, things like that. So if you're tracking with me, put in hashtag tracking. If you want some more clarity on what I'm talking about, go ahead and put it in there too. Hey Steve, I'm following you, but I may need some more understanding in something else. So why are you going to put those comments in there? You let me know, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. If there's some thoughts or something that you want to share, if there's a question that you have, there's not a ton of you here, but there's enough of you. You don't have to put a Q in there. Just ask the question and put a comment in there as well, and that'll be cool. All right, Roy said he's tracking with me. Good deal. So. Before I get back to what it is, what I want to talk about, because I want to give you some perspective on our intent and purpose. A big part of what we are trying to do is to have people on Podcasters Live that will help you as a community move forward. Right? I was doing an interview the other day, and I was talking to them, and we were talking about podcasting, and we're talking about podcasting, of course, because it's Podcasters Live, but I was on someone else's show, and I was telling them about the idea about your podcast, and dare I say your content in and of itself. So get with me on this, and I'll get into this, our guest here in a second, is that your content, everything that you think about from your content, it should be moving people forward, or should be moving people through the process, right? Within their journey. And I say this all the time. Everybody is on a journey, right? But but for you to be successful on your journey, you have to be an active participant in your journey. Some people aren't active, and some people are active in their journey, but some people are actually at different stages in their journey, and that's when they come into contact with your content. Understand that your content a lot of times has to align, and it's not so much. It's the idea of your content. You heard the idea about being evergreen. Your content, when you're putting something out, it is aligning with somebody at that particular part in their journey. Please get that. Everybody wants their content to hit everybody like right now, and that's just not the case, right? Your content and everything that you need to be put out, Roy, Samantha, myself included, right? It needs to be solving a problem for somebody, because that is exactly when your content will align with someone, and guess what? They will probably stay with your content for a season. That could be a year and a half, could be 6 months. They will stay with your content, And then after you help them grow to a certain level, guess what happens? Now they move forward. And so that's where you have to that's where the intentionality comes into place, and being deliberate in what you're trying to deliver and what you're trying to put out there. The deliberate nature of everything you do, right? We can't get focused and bogged down in just expecting everybody to like all of our content immediately as we put it out there. It's probably not ready for certain people right now, right? But we still got to put it out there. If you're tracking with me, let me know you're tracking with me. I appreciate that. What's going on, sir? How are you doing? Mr. James Hicks in the house. Mr. James Hicks in the house. All right. So part of our big, I guess our big purpose, intent, if you will, was to kind of plan out about 6 months of our year from a guest standpoint, and we are not too far off. So I wanted to show you guys this. This is currently where we stand with our guests that we have lined up, and we have some amazing people. This Tuesday, of course, like I said, we have Jeff and JA, JP High Tech. He's on the 19th with Dean Reynolds, and then on the 26th we have Michelle and CL Palmer that are taking place, and then one of the things that we pride ourselves on within our community, Podcasters Live, and also with Worthy Retail U, is the level of diversity that we have in our community. And we really take that to heart, because we feel we serve, a lot of different people. And that is, for me, one of the biggest pieces that I enjoy. But one thing that we do want to talk about is going to be the diversity as it relates to podcasting. And so we are going to be kicking off Black History Month with 4 amazing guests. And we are going to be talking to them about being a Black podcaster and what does that mean. Here's the thing. If you're not a Black podcaster, I still want you to watch this. I still want you to take part of this, because I think having some knowledge and understanding around what happens and what occurs, because podcasting in and of itself is still super, super young. Everybody thinks it's saturated. It is not saturated. It is extremely young. And so we are going to be talking to Walter, Scorpion, and Queen, and Corey about what it takes to be a Black podcaster. Everybody wants to monetize. Everybody wants to monetize their content, right? If you don't want to monetize your content, you're lying, right? I'm sorry. I'm just gonna put it out there. You're lying, because I know you want to monetize your content, and you want to figure out the best way to actually monetize your content. And so we have Mr. Monty Weaver on, and he is going to talk to us about how to monetize your podcast or your live stream. He has so many different revenue streams, which is ridiculous. I'm excited to talk to him, and he's going to be talking to all of you about all of this as well. So how to monetize your podcast and your live stream. Crystal Prophet, she is one of the best podcasters out there. She has some amazing courses and some amazing content. So she is going to be on Podcasters Live, and she's actually going to be February 16th at 3:00. So understand this. So she's going to be on at 3:00. So I'm doing a twofer that day. I'm doing a doubleheader. So I have Crystal Prophet at 3:00 on that day, and then okay. Let me. I'm gonna pause here for a second to talk to all of you a little bit about who James Cridland is. Okay, because a lot of you out there probably have no clue who James Cridland is as well. But before I do that, let me make sure I get the comments up here. No, I'm just doing this for free. That's exactly right. Exactly. Monty Weaver is the real deal. And Monty Weaver is so chill about it. Exactly, right? He's so chill about like what he got going on. So I'm excited to talk to him. Okay. So James Critlin. How can I put it? Okay, here's the thing with James Critlin. So you guys know Apple, right? You guys know Apple, Spotify. Let me see. You know, if you're in podcasting, you know, hosting sites such as Buzzsprout, Captivate, Google Podcast, what is it? Pandora, you know, all these podcasting platforms, guess who they go to for information around the podcast industry? It's this guy. It is this guy, James Critlin. He has two podcasts. One's called Pod News. It's a daily, 5 days a week podcast. And then he also has Podland, which is a one day a week on Thursday. If you are a podcast, even if you're a content creator and not a podcaster, I would have you go and subscribe to his channel. He's one of the biggest guys that I've had thus far in the realm of podcasting. If you have been around podcasting for any measure of time, you've probably heard some of his speeches. He speaks regularly. He's a British guy that lives over in Australia. I'm extremely excited to talk to him. I talked to him last Friday morning, and we hit it off. And he was like, "Dude, I love what you're doing, and count me in. I'll be on your show." So we are going to be doing a double header that day with Crystal Prophet and James Critlin on February 16th. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a coach. I have two coaches. I have a regular executive coach that helps me from a professional standpoint with all these different things. And I also have a podcast coach. Charlie is my podcast coach. Charlie is the one that helps me with my thoughts and my visions and my perspective around what I want to put out there and then how to grow the podcast. And Charlie is over in Australia, and he has helped some of the biggest podcast companies grow their podcasts to 5 and 6. I mean, seriously, 5 and 6 figures, you know, in their revenue stream, because they're using a podcast to help grow their business. So he is going to be talking about the business of podcasting as well. So I'm excited to talk to him a little bit more about what he has going on as well. So that's going to be actually really cool. So who's the hey, is Jillian in the house? Where's she at? There she is. We bring Jillian. Oh, well, hey, you ain't said nothing but a word, Jillian. You ain't said nothing but a word. I'm gonna email you right after I finish this. This is awesome. I love the lineup. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I do want to get through these guys too. And then we have Monique Russell or Monique Mills. They both have amazing podcasts, and they're thinking about live streaming. And so they're going to be great test case, you know, for podcasters live. But more importantly, they're going to be, you know, here live talking about their podcast, but then how to grow your brand using your podcast, because they have done this probably better than two ladies that I can even imagine, especially on LinkedIn. They have been able to kind of grow their brand and their authority by utilizing their podcast. So I'm going to have those two on at the same time. And then guess who I have here? Miss Kat. So Kat and I went back and forth on a couple of things that we wanted to chat about. Initially, we were going to talk about Notion and how to help you kind of organize your thoughts and things around that. However, one of the things that we realized was that she does an amazing job with like she's a vocal coach and helping you kind of find your voice. One of the things that we hear all the time in podcasting is, I hate the sound of my voice, when people first start out. And what they really mean is that twofold, is that they do literally hate the sound of their voice. The second one is that they don't they don't they don't really have really either great mic technique or the confidence that they need in order to articulate what it is that they're trying to say. And I don't mean the voice per se, but I'm talking about the actual messaging of their voice. So we're going to be talking about both of those with Kat as well too. So I'm excited about that, to talk to her. Here's another rock star within the podcasting community. And here's the other thing. Please, guys, understand this. My goal with a lot of these guests are to introduce those of you who are probably brand new to podcasting to some of these people who are quote unquote legends within the podcasting industry. Harry Duran has a podcast called Podcasters Junkie, and he is moving up into almost 300 different episodes. He also had a podcast talking about how to learn how to start a podcast. He is one of the best people to talk to about understanding why your podcast is failing, why your podcast isn't doing what you think it is going to be doing, because he has so much experience with this. And so we're going to be having him on the show as well too. And then we have everybody knows and loves Mr. Rob Alasalis coming on as well. He's going to be coming on near the actually, so that's another twofer. That's another double header. So I got Harry at 2:00 on March 16th, and then Rob is going to be coming on at 7:00 on March 16th. So that's another double header. So I'm excited about that too. Everybody knows and loves Rob, and we talked about what we wanted to kind of our subject matter to be about, and we talked about how to generate revenue through your podcast and your live stream, or really through your live stream. So we're going to be talking to Rob about that, and then we have Angie. Angie is over in the UK, but she's originally from Belgium, and Angie was one of the original four. So if you ever heard my story, and when I'm talking about how we started Podcasters Live, where I was part of this podcast support group, and then four of us kind of broke away. Nothing negative about the group, but we just kind of broke away and started our own little thing. Angie was part of that process, and so I'm excited to talk to her about the 4 guest onboarding mistakes that a lot of podcasters make. And we are shoring up more and more people. We actually shored up 2 more people today. I just didn't get an opportunity to kind of put them on here, but we're super excited, man. We're excited about what we got going on, the talent, the people, the intention of what we're trying to do. We are truly trying to educate people more and more about their podcasting, and then how you can actually grow your discoverability through live streaming as well. Let me make sure. So I got, saw that one. Someone's laughing. Who's laughing? Is that Jillian? Is that you laughing, Jillian? And then, Jillian's so soon. Heck yeah, that's right. That's right. James, you were already on here, man. James, you were already on here, dude. Right? I can't, you already, I'm not saying that you overstayed your welcome, because you are more than welcome to come back. So you were already on here, man, but we got a lot of great people, and the goal for this year is for us to just grow the community. And I can give you numbers, and we're going to talk about that once we launch our website coming up here shortly too. More, stay tuned for information on that. And then to grow the community. And then we have plans to actually grow not just our Facebook community. We have another community that's off of Facebook that we've already kind of laid the foundation. And we have some people who are part of our inner circle already within that group. And so we're excited about that. And they've just kind of been providing some information and some guidance, so before we start to go too hard in the promotion of that, we want to make sure we lay a really good foundation for all of that as well. So got a lot of stuff. We are truly moving with intent this year, and we're being intentional and we're being deliberate about everything that we got going on. Hey, James, what's your word for the year? If you're still there, Jillian, either one of you guys, do you guys have a word for the year that you guys use to kind of go after? And I know, James, you were just over at CES and over in Las Vegas, man. How was that? Thank you for sharing some of the information and insight for all of that stuff as well too. Focus Focus. Stay focused. Stay focused on you. What is you? You mean you yourself or what you? Or you staying focused on me? Why are you focused on me, man? You need to focus on yourself. Stop focusing on me, James. Focus on yourself, dude. Okay? I'm just messing with you. I got I got Preston So making gear right now. Too late. As soon as you said focus, I sent it to him already. Too late. Word of the year. Not to what? Come on. I know you got one. We all have something that, we're trying to get accomplished this year. And what we're trying to get accomplished though, it needs roots, right? Just think about the growth process of a tree, whatever it is that, you can plant it however you want to plant it. But if it doesn't have roots, man, it's just not going to stay. And so that's how I think about words of the year for me, at least, and for our businesses, are to have something that's going to actually create roots, and that we're actually going to be able to kind of nurture and grow. And then also kind of, it's the nature of a tree. Sometimes you're growing in certain areas and you have to prune certain branches, and that's okay. It's okay if we have to prune certain branches. We just have to make sure that they're the right branches for us to actually prune. You know what? You're not coming on the show anymore. You're done. It's over. It's a wrap. I'm done. I'm done because half the show we will be talking. Half the show I'll probably have to, interpret everything that you're saying anyway, because the Boston accent is so jacked up. And, so forget about it. You're done. You're done. You're not even, I'm so, everybody, please people do not take Jillian and I serious. She is amazing. I'm just messing with her because she's from Boston. I'm from New York. So that's why we're messing with each other. Word of the year is going to be centered on truth. All right. Whose truth? Your truth? Whose truth? What truth? What are you talking about? James Hicks, coming over here to chill with me. Where, in Boston? Is he coming to Beantown? Oh Lord, he's all the way, man. He's all the way on the left coast, though, man. He's not gonna be able to survive over here, on the East Coast. As far as James came in, as far as he could come, which was Las Vegas, and that was it. He can't come over here. He can't come to this far. It's just too real. It's just too real. He can't deal with it. He likes Cali, where everything is, it's all superficial, man. And Las Vegas is crazy. He can't come on the East Coast, man. He can't handle it over here. What's going on, dude? How are you doing? Good to see you. Steve Worthy. How are you doing, Mr. Robert? How are you doing? Never Call Me Again live. Oh, I like that, how you changed your name. No, coming over to Facebook. Oh, okay. All right. Coming over to Facebook. I thought you told me he was coming to the East Coast. I'm like, no, he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. He can't handle, just like that movie, he can't handle the truth. He can't handle the East Coast. They'll eat him up and spit him out over here as well. How are you doing, Mr. Robert Reed, Mr. Never Call Me Again live? You doing okay today? You doing okay? Hey, Robert, we are talking about words of the year. What's your word? Is there a foundational word that you utilize to help galvanize your thoughts, your actions, your goals, or whatever it may be, for this year? What are some of those things? If is there a word, or is there a phrase? Is there something that you use to kind of help you with that process as well? If there is, actually go ahead and put it in the chat. If you don't have one, like Jillian doesn't have one. She doesn't have a lot of things, because she's from Boston, and ever since they lost Tom Brady, that city doesn't know what to do with itself. And actually, it just ceases to really exist because Tom Brady was Boston. And since he's gone, do they even have a football team still? I don't even know. I think they do. I guess they do. Somebody let me know. jokes aside, truth for me, lots of things to be open about and share on a deeper level. Vulnerability to heal, and they'll heal others. 100%. Well, I think that's part of your personality, right? And part of a little bit more about who you are. Let me be sure. I think that's part of a little bit more about who you are, right, Jillian? Right? I think everybody who has come in contact with you, they feel the warmth of your personality. They feel the warmth of like your desire to help people and to help them kind of like get it. And it's not a like I'm better than you type of thing. You need to understand what I'm saying. No, it's like a, hey, seriously, I really want to help you out of the kindness of my heart type of deal. And I think everybody that has come in contact with you, gets that as well too. So I firmly believe that that's your truth. You're already kind of living your truth, and I think you want to help others live their truth as well too. So what? Yes. Jillian, check your DMs. Who's DMing Jillian? Don't DM Jillian, man. Stop it. Whoever's doing that. Oh, it's James. James, stop it, man. She's not. Yeah, check DMs for me, Jillian, because I need you on the show. Have you been on James' show yet? I don't think you've been on James' show yet, or have you? Right, he has like 10 of them. Right, I got 2. Right, he has like 10 of them. So it all depends on what show James has cooked up. He just came from Las Vegas, so he probably has about 4 or 5 more that he's thinking about launching, right now as well too. So we are here just kind of chatting it up for the rest of about another 6 minutes, because I'm going to try my best to go to just 1 hour tonight. I know I'm trying to build up, and this is just the selfish side of what I'm going to say here. Maybe it's not selfish, but I am trying to build up our watch hours, for our YouTube channel. And we have a lot of things that we're trying to do, and trying to leverage our YouTube channel as well too. Thanks for being 100%. Love the humor, wisdom, and care. Of course, you have to be, right. I think that's the cool part. The cool and the crazy part is that none of us have, even James and I, right? We probably talk, more often than not. I mean, we haven't met each other in person. Robert or I, we haven't met each other in person. Never Call Me Again live, right? Roy, who was on here, Samantha, right? We've all never met each other in person. I think it's just a matter of, you can recognize when, I guess you can recognize real, right? Go old school, real recognize real, right? You have a better understanding of that. But I think the other side of it too is that, when you're trying to do this and you're trying to kind of create your own content, there are a lot of people who are out there doing not what you're doing, but they're doing something similar. And you gravitate to people like that. I think it goes back to what I talked about your goals and your milestones. Like, they're only as good as you are. And I think the people that you come in contact with, the people that you connect with, it's the same thing. They are only as good as you are. Right? And so if you got a selfish, type of personality or persona, I guess you're going to connect with those similar type of people. And there you have it. And so that's where you find yourself. And that's where the things that you want to make sure that you're actually kind of going about a little differently as well, too. All right. What topics? Is there anything you guys are thinking about? What's Jillian, what's new? Are you, you got like a new show going on, don't you? Right. I could have swore I saw you were chatting it up with a few guys and gals. Were you helping them with their live streaming or something like that? If I'm correct, let me know. I thought I saw a couple of different live streams that you had going on as well too, that were actually pretty cool. So All right. You know, one of the things that I had the opportunity to do on Friday night was to hold on a second. Was to have a conversation a little bit more about what kind of the professionalism that needs to be associated with podcasting. And I also think, and I also can kind of take this also to maybe the perspective of content creation. We talked about the idea of that podcasting is a craft. It's not something to kind of be taken lightly. It's not something that you just want to actually kind of go into it like haphazardly, but you actually want to make sure that you're paying attention to the actual professional nature of what a podcast is and actually how to create a podcast. So there's so much information out there and so many people that just want to start the podcast, and I completely get it. But I think the other side of it is that when we think about what we want to try to do to help people out with Podcasters Live is to help them understand a little bit more about the professional nature and how to craft a really good podcast. Because guess what? That will help you transition your podcast into a live stream, so that way your run a show and everything that you do from a live stream standpoint will actually stand up as well. I want to thank you all tonight for being here, hanging out with me as well. It's been cool talking a little bit about, our intentionality, our word for the year, giving you a little bit of our lineup that we have coming on as well. So, before we go, what you got going on? You got a lot of stuff going on. Oh boy. Let me make sure I don't care. I can cover up my face. It's all good. Lots of stuff. Yeah, streaming. Wrong one. Oh, that's big. Yep. Streaming. Yeah. Oh, Lord of mercy. You're gonna be streaming. Yeah, I saw that one. Teaching ELS Brazilians. I saw that one. Doing a lot of content creation, clients teaming up with others to teach people how to do in-person live streaming events. And we'll be doing another show about questioning faith deconstruction. Oh wow, that's awesome. That is really awesome. I saw the first two. I think I chimed in on one. You probably like, I'm not even going to listen to Steve, but you were talking, of course, in Portuguese, and everyone's going back and forth. And I was sitting there. I was like, oh, I like your show. I have Jillian. I have no clue what you're saying. I think I put that in the comments, but I think you were so caught up in the professional nature of what you were doing. You're probably like, whatever, dude. I'm not going to put that comment up there because you probably didn't want to laugh. But then the other one around the production piece, I think that's actually really cool. Is doing a lot of content creation, teaming up with others on teaching people how to do in-person streaming events. That's awesome, right? Because I think I remember when you first started, but I think you were you were doing like a hockey live stream or something like that. I think that's one of the first ones that a lot of people may have seen from you was that hockey live stream that you did, which is actually really cool. So I can see how that kind of translates into what you're trying to do as well. Yeah. You were rocking and rolling, and I didn't want to mess you up. And when you were you were helping somebody with English and Portuguese and stuff like that, and I was like, oh man, all right, cool, that's awesome. Lots of sporting events and corporate podcasts. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and then I of course, and I haven't chimed in lately, but the one that you do for the what is it called? It's not a city, but it's a town of Marlboro, right? Because it's not because they're not because when I lived there, I lived in Danvers, which is right next to Peabody, and then Beverly. When I actually lived in Boston. So they're not really cities. They're all towns. And I think Marlboro's a town, right? Okay. All right. Definitely messed me up on my Miss Jill channel. I love that. Yeah. And I like, I don't know why why I like watching, like, I thought it was actually really cool. Like the Marlboro show, Marlboro, like the Marlboro Man, the show that you do in the town for the town of Marlboro. I think I don't know. They're doing like construction and trying to build up the infrastructure of the city, yada yada yada. And whenever I don't know how I end up catching it because it's just I don't know. I don't have your schedule, but it just kind of comes on arbitrarily, and I'll see it. I'll check in, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, and I'll sit there, and I'm like, oh wow. And it's actually really cool because I like the production quality that you actually do with it as well too. What's going on, Matt Haas? How are you doing, sir? Intentionality, baby. That's it. That's it. That's it. Marlboro. There you go. I'm not even pronouncing it correctly. I've lost my Boston accent because I haven't been there in a long time. Marlboro Economic Development. It's a city now? Oh, they turned it. So it's a city now. So does that mean you see what I'm doing right here? Right? Is that why they actually went from a town to a city? I would like to. I know you got the kids there. I'm gonna Marlboro. See, I can't even pronounce it. Marlboro. See, when I was there, listen to me. I was pronouncing everything. I won't say properly, but seriously, that the pronunciation was on point when I lived there, probably for about 2 years afterwards, and then after I left, it just went to hell. I can still pronounce certain things, right? Quincy, Stoneham, not Stoneham, Stoneham, oh my gosh. Like I said, Danvers, it was not Danvers, it's Danvers. Peabody, which is the weirdest freaking thing in the world. Worcester, not Worcester, Worcester. What else is there? What else is there that I had to teach myself? I don't know. There's a whole bunch. Then Cambridge is Cambridge. So it's all of those crazy ones. All those crazy ones. Yes, exactly, right? So yeah, they changed from town to a city. It's a whole nother ball game, but there's a whole nother level of responsibility that's associated with that too. So I think that's another thing I take away whenever I'm watching that too, is that, they recognize the level of responsibility that they currently have, and changing it, going from a town to a city, getting that influx of money. Like what are they going to do with the infrastructure? Kind of changing it up a little bit as well too. You are killing. See, I'm trying my best. I remember a little. I remember a little bit, man. I remember. Oh, but you know who has? Oh, okay. And I don't know if you're going to agree with me, and I don't know how we got on accents, and we're supposed to be talking about words of the year. But, so being from New York, right? Hold up. I'm gonna wet my whistle. I'm talking a lot. So, I honestly thought that Staten Island or Long Island had like some of the worst accents, but Rhode Island, Lord have mercy. Is it Cranston, Rhode Island? Providence. I can't remember like some of the towns in Rhode Island, but I think it's one of them was Cranston, I think. And I was in post-secondary education, career colleges for a while. That's really why I moved up to Boston. And I had all of New England, which included Providence, Rhode Island. And so I had schools down there, and I would go down there to visit. You want to talk about a translator? Man, the accents down in Rhode Island, in Providence, in the state of Rhode Island, are just like it's not even wicked smart. It's just wicked. I was like, oh my goodness. I thought Staten Island and Long Island accents were bad, but anyway. So I apologize if there's anybody in the group from Rhode Island. I apologize up front. You can skip through this part. This is the tail end of it anyway. So if you're from Rhode Island, I apologize up front. It is a very different accent that they currently have down there. All right. we're talking about words of 2022, and we end up getting into this tangent because Jillian is trolling me over here in Facebook, and I can't help but answer her because she's so amazing, and I appreciate her sense of humor so much as well too. But what is your word for the year? Do you have a word, a guiding principle or phrase or something that, as you were 10 days into 2022, what's something that you have been thinking about, a word that has kind of crossed your mind, something that you want to kind of have as your North Star, something that you can have that you're going to continuously kind of fall back on as you think about 2022? Because we all know that, oh my goodness, 2020 going into 2021 was crazy. Was just it was a different 2 years, if you will. And I know that a lot of us are looking at 2022 and hoping for something different. But I think that's why I also chose the word intentionality, is because hope isn't a strategy, right? It's just not. You actually have to have a plan. You actually have to have a purpose. And then one of the things that we focused on is that you actually have to be deliberate as it relates to your plan. So what's your plan? What's your phrase? What's your North Star for 2022? I really would like to know whether it's going to be here in the replay, on live, or actually in the replay as well. And what do you have going on, Matt? My North Star word is, huh? Okay. I'm so not just kidding. My word is blow up. So you said no, okay. Because I was like, hold it for a second. When I first started, I was like, bada bing, bada boom. But okay, I'm gonna pronounce this. Bandun kadunk. Badunkadunk? Oh, badunkadunk. Did I get that right? Badunkadunk? I think I got that right. I think badunkadunk. You said no, my word is blow up. What does that mean? What does that mean to blow up? Right? I think we all kind of intuitively get it. But what does that mean for Matt? Right? What is that when you blow up, what are those words? Excuse me, what are those words? How do we know that, Matt has blown up? Other than your face probably being everywhere, right? And everybody sharing. Here's one thing. I was talking to somebody the other day. I think it was Walter Strong. Right? I think it was Walter Strong. Once again, one of the two. And we were talking about like the levels of discoverability, right? And we talked about the ultimate level, I feel, of discoverability is when people start to share your content, right? Understand that, right? We can put content out there in the ethos and and everybody, we can market it and all of that stuff, which is great, which is what we're supposed to be doing and talking it up like I'm doing on my show. We're doing right here. But when you actually have people to share links, to share events and things like that, because they believe in your stuff so much. I don't want to say so much like, oh my gosh, it's just so great, but they're like, hey, you may find this interesting, right? We do that. I do that all the time with podcasts. When there's a podcast that I really, really like, and I think it's for somebody, I'll share it. I'm going to recommend it. But I think it's the same thing for your actual content. I think my battery died for my slider. But I think it's the same thing for your content. When people share your content, I feel like that has to be one of the most important parts, of discoverability. So, and then Matt says, yes, blow up means a huge audience. Good, man. Good deal. Well, I know you'll get there, man. And I know you will get there. All right, people. I appreciate everybody for being here. It is about 12 minutes after when I said that I thought I was going to stop. I appreciate all of the feedback, all of the your words for the year. We have a lot going on. Stay tuned in our Facebook group and our YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I ask that you go to Podcasters Live and go ahead and subscribe and also like our content. We have some amazing guests that are going to be coming up, and then we also have some videos that we're going to be releasing shortly as well. So we have a lot of things because we are moving with intent. We are being deliberate this year with everything that we do. And so we're excited to have you along for the ride. We appreciate you so much. Have a great night, and God bless. Wrong one. There it is.